we're live now, and the recording is also on, so it's good to see that people started joining. It's just still the very early seconds, so just letting everybody in. Yeah, good morning, everybody. Thanks so much for joining our webinar today. I know that we have a lot of registrations, so we expect many people to join us from different sides of the world. I also know that we sent invitations to very different regions. Therefore, after you joined, please let us know where you're based and what is your expectation from the today's session. It's very interesting. I know that the majority of people should be from the UK, from South Africa, but we saw a couple of registrations coming from Australia. So it's interesting if someone from this area and from this hemisphere made it to the session. So please let us know in the chat. Yes, I see London. Quite, it's expected. Yeah, on our side, we have a stellar panel today. We have Charles and Harry. They will introduce themselves in a moment. We are all based in different areas as well. So I'm based in Europe, in Bulgaria. Harry, I believe you are not in London, but you are in the UK, right?
Yeah, in sunny Exeter, if you've heard of it.
Amazing. And Charles, I think your location is most likely even sunnier than, than ours.
Yes, here from Johannesburg, South Africa. Quite sunny, quite humid, warm.
Awesome. It feels like spring is coming, maybe even more like summer on your end, but on our end, definitely spring is coming. Yeah, I see that people from our audience is from South Africa, Serbia, Africa as well. Quite a lot of people from South Africa or US. It's very interesting. I think that it's it's good to see you here. Sydney, Australia, Tyler. Good. Hello, and very good to see you. And I think it's most likely evening already on your side. Thank you so much for joining. Cape Town, Canada, south coast of England, Cumbria, London. It's amazing to see you all, guys. So while we are still waiting, Philippines and lots of different areas all over the world. So it's very exciting that this topic and this chat today brought so many people here. Once again, yeah, good morning, good evening, depending on your location. And first of all, I would like to say thank you so much for joining us today, for making it up to this session. And I think that we have over 100 people who joined us. So let me bring slides on the screen. I hope that you can see my slides and see everything properly, and we will start the session. So our topic for today is upgrade your multi-entity finance, real-time automation and workflow strategies for success. And we really hope that you will find this session useful. So a bit of housekeeping at the very beginning. We do have slides, as you can see, but there are not so many slides. They're mostly for some visualizations to highlight the key points and make it easier for our audience to follow what we are talking about. The recording also will be available and shared 24 hours after the session. And the session itself should take approximately 45 minutes, but I think that we might get a little bit over it and have some time at the very end for the Q&A and questions. We would like to make it as interactive as possible. So thank you very much for already participating and sharing your locations in the chat. It's great. If you have any questions, please feel free to drop them in the chat. Also use the Q&A section, and we might not pick them all up during the conversation, but afterwards for sure, and they will be followed, like every question will be followed up after the webinar. We will also have a couple of polls. There will be 4 polls, and if you see one, please participate, because it really helps us to get your inputs and your insights as the audience, and make sure that we align our conversation in the right angle and towards what is more interesting, and also see your participation. With all that being said, I will dive with some introductions. First of all, I will start with myself. Yeah, I'm Masha. I'm head of ecosystem marketing here at ApprovalMax, and I would like to say that it's my first time ever hosting a webinar. So I'm also a non-native speaker. So there are many things that can go wrong, but I hope that I will do my best. And I know that I'm surrounded by very knowledgeable and supporting group of people, so there is nothing to have fear of. I started my career at EY, so I actually have taxes and taxation background, but for the last 6 years I'm with ApprovalMax on the vendor side. And ApprovalMax, it's a beautiful company that helps automate accounts payable, enable financial controls, and we also focus on multi-entity automation as well. Over to you. I think now we're over, sorry, to the knowledgeable group itself and to our experts today. Charles, can you please do a quick introduction of yourself?
Everyone, I'm Joiin. Obviously started my career down at the bottom of the ladder with bookkeeping, worked for an accounting firm as an accountant thereafter, studied further, worked myself up, and ended up for the last 3 years with the Rocket DNA Group as their group financial partner. Yeah.
Well, and we will definitely talk about the company in more detail in a couple of minutes. Now, Harry, over to you. Please talk a bit about yourself and Joiin.
Perfect. Thanks, Masha. Thanks, Charles. I definitely wouldn't count myself an expert on the subject matter, but there we go. Yeah, so I'm Harry. I kind of run the kind of customer success arm of Joiin. For those of you that don't know, Join's kind of like a consolidation tool for group reporting that links directly to Xero, QuickBooks, Sage, or kind of any other platform as well. I've been at Joiin kind of since its very inception. I was kind of employee number 1, so I think I've been here about 6 years now. Done a few of these webinars, a few with Charles, and I've worked quite closely with Masha and ApprovalMax previously as well. So really nice to see some familiar faces, but most importantly, some new faces. So looking forward to the session.
Perfect. Thank you very much. And it's very exciting to talk to both of you today. And once again, very excited for everyone who joined to listen to this discussion. Thank you. Thank you so much. So let's move on to the session goals. We assume that our audience today are mostly finance professionals. So we who are familiar with the multi-entities and are looking to improve your finance function. Therefore, we will not go so much into the basics. We will focus on the Rocket DNA's transformational journey, because it's quite an exciting business and exciting story to share. Then we will have a bit of more like hands-on experience in the process automation, consolidation, and reporting. And we will talk about Charles' app stack. So what are the cases and what apps he and his company is using, and yeah, what are the insights? And then we will talk about how to keep up with automation trends, because obviously there is a lot of things going on, a lot of new tools coming up every day. So we will cover this part as well. But before we dive in, I would like to kick off the first poll, and we would like to understand what is your biggest priority for your finance function in 2025. And you can see the poll live now, and there are a few options. So obviously they're quite general ones. If you have anything more particular, feel free to mention in the chat or mention it there. And yeah, hope that we will have some responses coming. While we are waiting for everybody to vote, Charles, what is your biggest priority for this year?
Well, for this year is obviously AI has been a big talk lately, and my focus would be to see automating the workflow and seeing how AI can get everything done for me, so that I can have obviously a bigger breath.
Exciting. Yeah. So we will discuss this. It's I think it's quite a common common state for all of us at this point of time, and it's very interesting what exactly you are doing. So we will have a separate part covering this at the very end. That's great to know. Thank you. I think we can have a look at poll results yeah, so still the majority of our audience today, their priority is automating workflows and improving reporting accuracy, which is actually great to see, because this is very relevant to what both Harry and I and also Charles will be mentioning later on. Reducing months and close time, yeah, ensuring compliance is a bit lower, and adoption of AI, I think 30% of the audience, not as much, I would say, as expected. So maybe we can shed some lights on the best practice, how to make it even more exciting for everyone. So yeah, it's good to see this insights. Thank you very much. Great. So let's dive into the into the content part of our today's session. Charles, as I have mentioned, it's Rocket DNA is a very exciting company, at least for me, because I was looking at on your website, on the videos, and it's very impressive what you are doing. Can you please explain and tell us, everyone, in more detail, like what is the company doing, what is the story behind?
So the company focuses on drone technology, automation, and also how to integrate AI into the drone industry. Our main focus is the mining industry, stockpile counting, asset management, agriculture, also looking at the crops, critical asset industries such as loading docks at seaports, things like that. We've recently also integrated, very exciting, our drone services into security services, where we take the human aspect away from danger, put them in a control room. You know, they keep the property of the customer safe by using a drone.
Yeah, that's very interesting. And in terms of the I saw that it started in South Africa, right? So where did it start originally, and how many entities do you have at the moment?
We originally started in South Africa. We subsequently opened up a branch or a separate entity within the group in Ghana. From there, we went to Australia. So in total, we have 3 entities in South Africa, all of them focusing on training of drones, service delivery of drones, and then managing the group. Then we've got one entity in Ghana, and then 3 in Australia.
Mm-hmm. And you're based in South Africa, and do you have finance teams in every region? How does the structure looks like?
Yeah, so we with technology, it's very easy to centralize a finance department, but we do have people working in each country, obviously, to make sure that there is compliance with local statutory needs.
And I would assume that you need this compliance with like all locations. So they might be like local regulations, local approvals, and all of these things. So you need to go through these processes pretty much everywhere.
Yeah.
Good. Yeah, that's well, definitely this is a very obviously high tech and also very fast grow space. And I would expect that expectations for the finance function are very high as well. So if you are in this space, you just cannot can you do it on a lower standards compared to to what is the main focus of the business. Can you tell us a bit more about the specifics of the finance function in your organization, and taking into account the sphere and also the multi-entity nature of the business?
So my main function in the company is basically to provide financial reporting on a monthly basis, making sure to the shareholders correctly and accurately and on time. So yeah, you've mentioned the, and it's been interesting since I started in this group of companies where, you know, finance is normally set in their way, slow paced, and this is an industry that basically develops daily, and it's interesting to try and use technology to our advantage to keep up with how the group progresses and develops.
Yeah, and when you, as you mentioned that you first joined several years ago, how did the finance function look like back then? And did you had to start everything from scratch, or there were already some established processes?
Yeah, there were quite a few established processes. However, it was very old school, very manual, paperwork with signing and stamping and running after people, and you know, which does waste efficiency of the finance team, running around with physical documents. So yes, there were some processes, but definitely a lot of room for improvement and automation and getting a system to work for you rather than you working for the system.
And what would you say were the main challenges for your organization, for Rocket DNA, and in general for multi-entity?
Multi-entity, I would say, biggest challenge was to do month end for multi-entity group on Excel, to try and consolidate everything manually, while still making sure that everything was approved that's showing up on your reports. You know, manual work just wastes time.
And how much time did it take you approximately to do the month's end back then at the very beginning?
Oh, month end, I would say, and now I'm counting after hours, I'm counting also weekends. I would say month end would take me up to 2.5 weeks, if not 3, depending on what time of the year it is. Just making sure that what's on the Excel is accurate and reflects the true figure.
Yeah, that sounds like a lot of time spent on this one. Harry, let me bring you in this conversation as well. So with where you are at Joiin, I think that you have a lot of conversations with your customers, partners, and multi-entity businesses. So do these challenges resonate with your experience?
Yeah, definitely. So it's kind of what Charles kind of alluded to there. It's a pretty common theme. It's multi-entity group, maybe growing, adding new entities, acquiring new entities, and kind of creating these kind of unwielding Excel spreadsheets that no longer kind of fit the purpose. So that's kind of something that we're really seeing as a trend, a move from the requirement being just simply kind of reporting accuracy. Now we're kind of seeing a need from customers to be instant data to make instant decisions. No more kind of data silos, taking data, put data from multiple Excel files, dump it into Excel. It's got to be there the moment you want it, the second the bookkeeping's done. And we're kind of obviously feeling that natural pressure, and that's kind of where we see kind of the reporting landscape going.
Got it. Yeah, so this real-time insights, real-time reporting and data being available pretty much all the time, not just a couple of times per month. Perfect.
Yeah.
I think that at this point we will align with our audience once again. So Sasha, if you could please launch our second poll. We would like to ask what is your number one multi-entity finance headache right now, and what are you struggling with? Does it resonate to what Cheryl and Harry just have mentioned? And in the next part, we will focus in particular on this area. Cheryl, would you say that like manual and working with Excel would be the most common challenge that you are familiar with?
Yes, definitely. Very familiar with that manual labor, and I would suspect that majority of people working in finance still struggles with this manual data entry and and even the consolidation chaos thereof.
As a sequence, yes, as a follow-up of this. Good. I see that we have a couple of things mentioned in the chat as well, that clients would like add data from more than one source, such as non-financial data. Yeah, this integration is always an issue, kind of how to make sure that everything is in the one system. So thank you for sharing that. As we can see the results on the screen now. So the manual data entry is the first one, so the biggest challenge for everyone, followed by, it's interesting that we have consolidation chaos and months and taking too long, both, like each takes 44%, so which is quite high and quite a big problem for the audience. Then lack of real-time visibility, approvals getting stuck are actually not so many people have problem with this, so maybe they're using ApprovalMax already, hopefully. And the rest. Thank you so much for sharing your insights, and we will move on a bit then. Cheryl, I assume that for every challenge that you mentioned and all of the nuances that you have in the finance function, you have some kind of a solution. And this brings us to a very logical question, like, how do you feel tech plays a part in this? And how do you feel that how is your current tech stack supports the challenges that you have mentioned?
Okay. First of all, current tech stack, using Xero for the day-to-day accounting function. Obviously, Xero being open to linking to multiple apps and exporting its data to report in other formats. So Xero being the main function, however, ApprovalMax doing the daily approvals for us. Now the functions on ApprovalMax is things like payment batches, PO approvals, bills approvals, invoice approvals, just making it a lot easier. And just by a click of a button, you can see where the approval is stuck. Joiin being our main consolidation app. As Harry mentioned, when you need to make a choice, it's easy just to go to one app where all of your data is already imported into. You can pull your reports and have a line of sight of where your current financial performances are in order to assist. Then since 7, that is our inventory management system. Obviously, working with a lot of drones and selling them and training students with them, you have to track where they are, just due to a Civil Aviation Authority regulations. SimplePay being our payroll system, and then Mayday just to have that additional line of sight on intercompany accounts and loans. Obviously, those need to be consolidated out, and having an additional app to just to give you that red light that something's not balancing does make it easy. Yeah, so that is our tech stack. Obviously, that assisted us getting rid of all the paperwork. The only thing we need to get rid of is the printer. Everything's digital now, a lot easier, and it's actually getting fun to do finance for a change again.
It's cool. I think it's
Oh, sorry, I was going to say, Shah, what does your tech stack look like when you first came to Rocket DNA? Just me being nosy.
No worries. When I first came to Rocket DNA, we had Xero and SimplePay. There was talks about ApprovalMax trying to digitize approvals back then, and we tested a local consolidation app. Obviously, the integration with Xero didn't work, and our needs to report on tracking categories, as Xero calls them, wasn't within that app. So until we found Joiin, our consolidation reverted back to Excel.
Cool.
How easy it actually was to find Joiin? Like, did you do your research by yourself? Did you just go to Zero Marketplace? How step by step, what was the process?
Well, me not being very efficient in my thoughts, I tried to Google first, eventually remembering the marketplace function that Zero had. And it was literally within, I would say, 20 minutes, where I read through all the different consolidation apps or suggested apps, and Joiin did stand out, especially with all the reporting options it had back then. Obviously, it grew from then, and you know, with the marketplace, it's just way easier to test apps because you can go test them in a trial version, and if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. And this tech stack I have in front of me, this is what works for me currently.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's great to see that it's all like Zero and the apps within the Zero app marketplace, app store, and so within this ecosystem. So you do not really, even in a high-tech business as Rocket DNA, you do not need to use like a bigger and more complex ERP system. So you can still keep like with Zero or maybe QuickBooks at some point, and apps, and you can always go there because I believe there is more than 1,000 apps at the moment, and new apps are coming there every week. So most likely for every need, for every gap, there will be something, and it's very easy and yeah, to find them there. I would say at some point, yeah, there were many nice things mentioned about Joiin, and I would suggest we dig a bit deeper into two particular areas, which are consolidation and reporting, and then approval automation. So talking once again about consolidation. So why is it so important, and why was it so challenging once again? And yeah, I think that this question would go both to you, Charles, and Harry.
Okay, so for us, the main importance for consolidation is, for as a multi-entity group, one entity would deliver service to another entity within the group, and there would be a transaction of sale between those entities. But what makes consolidation so important is to identify as a group, not just as an entity, but as a group, why you are profitable with external trade outside of the group. And consolidation basically does that for you. Just adds everything up together, removes the eliminations, and it's very easy then to see why you as a group with multiple entities are still performing well and growing.
Yeah, and having all of these insights on the surface, and very good visibility of what's going on across entities. Harry, do you have anything to add on this?
Yeah, no. I think Charles, like I say, is our kind of resident expert. He's at the coalface. He's there at the kind of the forefront of the change from that kind of manual process and talking about the importance of consolidation. So I think he's nailed the key messages. So I think we've got kind of two areas that are kind of particularly useful for Charles that we're going to kind of pinpoint in the next slide, which we'll talk about. And it's all around that kind of real-time access. So I think what we've got going on here is we've got a GIF of kind of the Joiin app, and kind of in the pre-session we had a little bit of chat, Charles and I, about kind of what the key aspect of Joiin is. So one of them is that Charles got his kind of 6, 7 companies and getting all the data on screen at one time, which is what you can kind of see here. We kind of building up from that kind of single entity report you might be able to kind of produce in Excel or in Zero, and then building up into kind of a group level consolidation, real-time access, automation of the eliminations and whatnot. So I don't know if you've got any kind of particular comments on that, Charles, or how that might have changed, or yeah.
No. the good thing about the way the reporting works is that not only can you see or filter the reports on individual entities, but also geographical placings of the entities, and also the individual cost centers within the group. Obviously, having multiple entities, each entity has their own cost center. So you can really drill down on these reports from a very high level to microscopic on how each entity or cost center or group or country is running their business and really going ahead.
Yeah, with all of these insights, it's difficult even to imagine how you did it in the past. Like, how could you use Excel to do all of these things? Because it's like, did the reporting change? Like, did it change when you switched to Joiin and to systems? I mean, it's clear that there was an improvement, but was it like, were there so many new things that have never been possible in the past when you used to use Excel?
Oh yeah, no, definitely. The reporting on cost centers, or zero, naming it, tracking categories, you know, that was never there. It is reports out of zero, but again, that's a manual process of then consolidating all the different cost centers of the different entities. So previously it was literally just high level figures. This is the numbers for the entities consolidated. This is what the picture looks like. And now having the ability to report on different types of aspects or financial aspects, that was a huge game changer for us.
Got it. Yes, and this is exciting to hear. We also have the second slide. I'm sorry if the slides are a bit small. I think that this is all what we can do with GIFs at the moment, but we can share them afterwards. And obviously, there are some information about apps that will be available on the website. Or yeah, we will definitely follow up. Yeah, Chris, in case you might need some further details.
Cool. And then kind of going on the screen now, we've got one of our kind of our dashboards. So these are kind of available. The moment you sign up, the moment you connect your company, Joiin will create this dashboard, and then you can go and customize it however you see fit. And this is something that kind of Charles and I spoke about previously. If I share a bit of a kind of an example that I hear time and time again about people when they're kind of adopting new tech, this I promise this is one from Charles. It's kind of a bit of a jokey one, but you've got quite often we get people coming to us who are kind of looking to kind of they've just moved into their finance function. They're looking to kind of drag it kicking and screaming into the kind of new age, bring in new tech when they might be where kind of Rocket DNA was like 3 years ago, but want to kind of on board and add all this new technology to kind of improve workflows. One of the things that we see time and time again is you need to get the kind of the whole team on board. So if you're looking to adapt your finance function, go to your CFO, go to your CEO, sorry, create them an amazing dashboard that they can look at, that they've got kind of locked access to, so they can go in. They can't edit or can't kind of muck up any of your bookkeeping, which is the kind of common one we get. We say maybe kind of an engineering CEO who wants to go into all of the kind of the finance platforms, create them a really nice dashboard that's visual, that gives them all the information they need. Create a nice dashboard or create a nice tool for your AP team so they can manage invoices and whatnot. I think it's kind of a really important part of that kind of change process.
Yeah, I think, Harry, it's a very interesting point about stakeholders, and Charles, maybe you can elaborate on that on your end. So was it easy for you to persuade your stakeholders to bring new tech on board, and what is your relationship at the moment?
Most definitely it was easy. Obviously having that trial version, being smart and taking that trial version close to month end, and having time to quickly import everything, set it up, so that I could then show them the app when it came to month-end reporting. You know, when they saw Joiin and what Joiin can do during the month-end meeting, it was a no-brainer for them. Really not difficult to justify in finance term, another cost. But you know, they immediately saw the benefit of having this app. And even the stakeholders, some of them has access to the app and they love it. They love having the ability to log into it and seeing this high level numbers without worrying about, you know, is the app up to date? Is the accounting up to date? Is the bookkeeping up to date? Because it automatically does everything for you on a daily basis.
Yeah, that's great to hear, and it's great to hear how easy it was. And on our side, I would also like to say that we love Joiin. It's amazing. Like, we have lots of customers and partners who use both of our tools, both ApprovalMax and Joiin, and it's an honor to be, you know, in the same space and seeing what guys are doing and how many developments do they have. And I think that they do help to provide you this like proactive approach to your finance function and to enable you making the decisions quicker and be more agile in general, which is exciting, obviously. Anything else, guys? Do you want to comment on Joiin, or we will move to the next part?
No, I think excited to hear a bit more about ApprovalMax now.
Yeah, I think that honestly, we will not go into so many details at the moment because we understood that the audience they do not have so many challenges with approvals and approval workflows. But anyway, Charles, could you please comment like what was your, you mentioned stamps, you mentioned like your manual approval process, so how it was before ApprovalMax and why are there so many struggles with this?
So obviously with approvals, it is normally your department heads, your CFOs, your CEOs, your directors, quite the highly recommended people in the company that needs to approve these type of costs. And most of the times you find yourself in a place where they are at a client, visiting a client, making sure that client relations is done, or they are at an expo or traveling to investors conventions, things like that. And having a manual process where you had to print everything out, give it a big black stamp on it with blocks, and you had to fill in the blocks that this invoice was coded to this GL account and it's part of this cost center. It has to be paid within 30 days, or it has to be cash on delivery. You know, it was just a struggle to have everyone at the office all the time being available to sign these documents manually. Having a automated process, they can open the approval up on their phone, go through the attachments, and then approve it there. So
yeah, and I think that you mentioned just only one office, but if we imagine that this is a multi-entity business that has like 10x offices or even more, so it's like this problem and challenge only multiplies, and it's getting even more and more challenging. I just switched to the next slide. Yeah, so it's a bit of a highlight as well of ApprovalMax key features. As Charles has mentioned, really our essential feature and functionality would be the approval workflow that can be as granular, as complex as possible. And we have a lot of nice features around it. And we also have budget checking. So I think that, Charles, you're also using budget checking, and this is one of the key functionalities that is helpful for Rocket DNA.
Yeah, no, definitely. Budget checking does make it, don't take it the wrong way, but it does make it easier to reject an expense. It really does. You know, it is difficult every time when a company has to take on an additional expense. and they have to run to the finance department. The finance department needs to double check actuals versus budget year to date and make sure that we're still in the budget year to date. And if we're not, how will it affect the following months of the year? And having a budget checking system like this, it literally just summarizes everything for you on the spot. No need to run to a finance department to double check budgets. So yeah, it just saves a lot of time. It really does.
Yeah, it's great to hear. And on this point on that it saves a lot of time, yeah, we have seen different cases. Of course, there are different business of different scales, but in general, there were cases when ApprovalMax helped to approve a single invoice when it used to take several days to approve, like 3 days to approve an invoice, to literally 1 hour. And if you multiply this to how many people are involved, to how many organizations and branches there can be, it's a huge time saving. And also, I would say that both Joiin and ApprovalMax are quite affordable, and most likely that's why it's so easy to negotiate with stakeholders. Yeah, so we worked really nicely together, and I think that both apps really complement each other nicely. So we are more about the process, about making sure that the process is right on the transactional level, and Joiin is all about the visibility across the board and essential tool for that. To sum up this part, I think that, Charles, there will be just the final question. What was one biggest overall difference that you could say, after you introduced the new app stack? Maybe you also have in mind some numbers, like how many days you have reduced as a result of implementation.
On approvals.
In general. So in general, if we talk about months and for.
I would say that these two apps alone saves me and my finance team, I would say, days of time, not sitting in front of their laptop and actually being productive and efficient at their work. I would say up to 4-5 days a month running around after everyone getting approvals, up to a week or 2 just to get Excel consolidations ready. These two apps really did take the pressure off of the finance team on, first of all, ApprovalMax, getting suppliers paid on time, getting approvals done, Joiin, getting month-end done on time, and actually being able to take leave, having weekends and breathing a bit. And it's not that bad, but it is a saying that in finance it's difficult to enjoy life because you barely have one. But having these two apps and all of this automation really, really, really does give that life back to us, and family time as well.
Yeah, that's great to hear, and that's great that there is so many positive that you reduce the number spent, and you can use them, you can utilize them in much better and enjoyable things. Cool. On this point, we will switch to the very much anticipated AI topic, and I see that we have a lot of questions in the chat, but we will, I think, just cautious of time, we will cover them a bit at the very end. So AI and new tech, I think that we just cannot skip this question. So Charles, you mentioned AI. Your company does a lot of AI itself. Do you see any AI tools in finance that excites you?
Definitely. Xero does have that AI tool where it can give you the suggested reconciliations on the bank. Joiin has AI integrated into their system, making our lives a lot easier. And I can definitely see AI being integrated into finance, making it a lot easier, also making it a lot more accurate, because the system does learn from the human inputting the data. And On AI itself, I haven't explored a lot of AI, although I have explored the AI that my current supplies to me, knowing that it was tested, it's trusted, and my financial data is safe.
Got it. And I think, Harry, it's very interesting to learn your opinion and thoughts on this, because I know that you released the AI function recently. And how did it go? Did you have to do something in particular to prove that you are trustworthy and that it's a really helpful tool? So can you elaborate more on that in general?
Yeah, no, of course. So in terms of that kind of trust and reliability of the data, that's kind of the key thing, isn't it? The fear of kind of your data being used or harvested. So I'll let you into a little story. We had kind of that AI function that we've just released, the kind of automation of notes, commentary, notes to accounts, report analysis. We've had it for about 6 months on our developer accounts, but we've been going through the necessary due diligence in terms of the anonymization of data and making sure that kind of data is kind of within our existing AWS environment and secure. So yeah, really important. We take it really seriously. It's that's hence why it took so long to kind of come to market. But I think kind of more generally, from kind of an AI point of view, it's going to be really interesting to see where that goes. In terms of hopefully AI is kind of implemented it within apps to solve issues that exist within the apps at the moment and are taking time, rather than just branding something as AI driven, which is kind of so easy to do, isn't it? Like, I'm sure every marketing team in the world wants to kind of get their SEO going with, we are AI driven, but yeah, I think kind of we've got a real focus. And I guess best of breed apps will have the same focus of AI for the sake of kind of improvements. Is really key.
Thank you very much. And Charles, do you have any particular approach on how to learn about this new tool? So yes, Harry mentioned that they need to provide the right value, and how to assess and make sure that you understand that the tool is brings the real value to our business.
Well, from my point of view, it's about testing it, first of all, making sure it's safe. Like Harry said, they tested it, did their due diligence on it before releasing it to the market. But also not being afraid to get in contact with the support team of the app that released the AI function. You know, and I see it quite a lot on Xero, Joiin, as well. If the moment they release the AI app, they release communication and resources on how to go look at videos or get in contact with them. So just for me, it's about educating yourself about AI, making sure that it can give you the function that you want, and that it actually gives you value towards the end goal.
And how much time can you allocate to test a new tool? Like, when should you see the real value coming to the process to make the decision?
It's difficult to say. It depends on the size of the organization. You know, for a smaller organization, it might take 10 minutes just to go through the info and make sure that it adds up. For a bigger organization, you know, testing every single aspect and making sure that on each and every sphere within your finance function, that it can be applied there and it adds value. So I would say on a bigger entity, the longer you spend time on researching this, the better for you, to make sure that it actually saves you time in the long run.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you. That makes perfect sense. And at this point, I think that we will launch our third poll, which is actually very much related to AI. And we would like to check with the audience and ask what multi-entity finance process would you like to be AI powered. So it's more like a creative thinking process. And if you have any gaps and if you're missing any tools at the moment that you think that AI could help you with, please, respond in the poll or mention your thoughts in the chat. Charles, are you looking for something in particular at the moment? Like, do you have anything on your radar?
Well, on my radar, it's and I like that it's on the screen, is financial reporting. AI basically supplying you with this financial reporting. Not so much month-end close, because there will always be that human aspect of making sure that you supply financial reporting and or management reporting. But having AI supplying financial reporting and highlighting favorable or adverse numbers on these reports for you will already save you time on going through the numbers yourself. If AI can report this to you, you can save time, focus on those reported variances, so that you have a better understanding of what you will report on when you close month end.
So taking into account everything what already happened in the past and on all of these nuances. Yeah, that's very interesting. And I think that resonates even a bit with the comment that we see in the chat. So some insights on trends, that learns from prior years and prior experience and analyzes and such. Let's have a look at the results. I think financial reporting is a leader, which is great to see. I think insights for Joiin team to for more things to be added in the future. Months and close and workflow automation. So all split all together very nicely, and cash flow planning as well. So it's all very useful. Thank you very much for sharing your insights and thoughts, because I believe that all vendors, they're considering some areas for improvement and development. So it's always good to hear this feedback. Harry, Charles, anything to add on this part?
I'm good.
No. I think I'm excited to address a couple of these questions which you've been seeing in, but it's all good for me.
Perfect. Then it's as we have just less than 10 minutes left, and as expected, it took a bit longer, so we switched to the key takeaways, and this will be a real short and concise. As our webinar is about strategies and it's about like how to be successful in multi-entity. So Charles, what would be your final advice, strategy to the audience on how to achieve success?
On multi-entity or consolidation, my advice is, don't wait. Don't try and do Excel. Don't try and do manual work. The sooner you start, the better. And you will fail a few times on how to set things up, but just try and try and try until you get a system. When I say system, I'm not referring to software, but a system within this works for you. I mean, my consolidation process within Joiin and Xero combined might be a bit weird for others, but it works for this group. So it's just about not wasting time. Go and do your research, make that decision, try and automate as much as possible as you can, and get that systems working.
Cool. Thanks so much, Harry.
Cool. I guess this kind of there's some nice cohesion with some of the kind of the poll results we've had around most important parts being around automation is, and this applies actually not just to finance teams. Like I'm doing this in my team at the moment, my kind of customer success team is we're trying to be as streamlined as possible. So go and speak to everyone in your team, see what they're doing day in, day out that is manual, that they're not enjoying, that makes their kind of work life not as enjoyable. You really want to kind of create a really kind of happy team that are doing meaningful work at every point. You don't want them kind of drudging through kind of manual data entry and whatnot. So speak to your team, find out where they're spending time, have a bit of a recce of what you're doing as well, look at where you're spending time, and then try and go and listen to kind of insightful webinars, look at on LinkedIn, join forums, and find out what other finance teams or other teams are doing in those areas to improve their workflows, and then just dive in and test it. Like there's so many free trials and kind of good bits of information out there that definitely worth just kind of rolling up your sleeves and kind of diving in first.
Perfect. Yeah, thanks so much. And just adding on top of this, so sometimes you even don't need to go far. Yeah, you just stay within the Xero App Store and you just search around, look around, what are the other tools and what is in there, and build your app stack based on the need. And it can be quite sophisticated to help you with all of the current challenges. Thank you very much. Thank you, Charles. Thank you, Harry. So that's pretty much it for our content part today, and I hope that it was useful. And right now we will open up live questions via chat, so I see that we have lots of questions. So while I will be going through the next slides, Harry, maybe Charles, you as well, can you please pick up one or two questions that you would like to respond at the end? And before we move there, I would like to mention that as Harry rightfully said, that both Joiin and ApprovalMax and as well other tools mentioned today, they have 14-day free trials available on our websites. And if you're interested, if you would like to dig a little bit deeper into the details or have a look at the demo, or even just the screenshots in more detail, you can go to our websites and check them there. We also will be sharing some links in the follow-ups, and to help us adjust the content that we will be sharing after the session, can you please respond to the final poll of our today's webinar if you would like to learn more about Joiin, ApprovalMax, if you're interested in both of the tools, or if you do not want to hear from us. So we will consider this as well. Always, I would say, a bit of a scary question. And while we get these responses, just the final thing on my end is that we recently, just a couple of days, we launched the survey on 2025 priorities that is focused, I believe, on multi-entity as well. So this is a chance to share a bit more insights and also an opportunity to win a reward after if you participate in the survey. So we will be sharing this link with you afterwards as well. Please have a look and participate. So it's always valuable to get the feedback.
Cool. Okay. So I've kind of lots of questions have come through, which is always great. Kind of probably the most I've ever seen in a session. Actually, there's kind of hundreds in here, isn't there? Anything Joiin related specifically about your use case that you've asked that's kind of quite long, I'll reach out to you individually. I'll get one of my kind of team to kind of talk you through best practice, how other people are doing it, particularly. So some of the key things kind of I'll kind of make a note of. I had lots of questions about Datev. Interestingly, I guess maybe that's to do with ApprovalMax is more European footprint than we have. I'll get back to you on Datev and different ways that you can get that data into Joiin, and if any kind of integration might be on the horizon. There's also lots of chat about non-financial data as well coming in, and how you can kind of put that into your reporting. I'll reach out to you individually. We've got some workarounds at the moment, but actually bringing in that non-financial data to Joiin to kind of create you those kind of, I don't know, occupancy rates or sales per sales rep is something that we're looking at in the not so distant future. So I'll drop you an email personally about all of those ones.
Perfect.
Perfect. Yeah, Charles, is there anything that you would like to cover as well?
I saw two questions very similar, so I'm going to try and answer them. On these two questions is how to eliminate intercompany transactions within a GL account, both on income statement and balance sheet. However, the method that I use is I went and I created an additional eliminations entity on Xero. Obviously, only for the reason to make my financial year in order easier, so that the auditors can see the paper trail of the eliminations. If you don't want to open up a separate Xero account just for your intercompany eliminations, I would suggest opening up additional GL accounts where you code all of your intercompany transactions into that GL account. And it was a question in a previous webinar that I joined, was creating GL accounts. And my advice there is never be afraid to create additional GL accounts. There's no law, no rule on how many accounts you are allowed to have on your ledger. As long as you open them up and code the correct transactions there to make your life easier. And the reason I'm delving into GL accounts is that Joiin has the function where you can go to the general ledger accounts and you can go and select which account needs to be automatically eliminated on your reports. So don't be afraid to create those additional GL accounts. So yeah, those two methods are two that works for me.
Yeah, at the risk of kind of spouting the virtues of Joiin too much, we've got some exciting developments in the area of eliminations around kind of automating some of the adjustments you might have to make in Joiin, making that workflow easier. And then we're going to be looking at that within account automation using AI, matching suppliers and whatnot within a group. So there's some interesting and really exciting bits there coming. No set time frames, but it's kind of being looked at the moment. So I'll definitely look out for our communications, existing customers, join our mailing list or whatever. Some exciting bits going on there.
Yeah, very exciting. And I think for sure we cannot cover all the questions at the moment, but we will follow up. So I see that there are a couple of ApprovalMax as well, and a bit more technical on the tips. So we will follow up after the webinar answering all of the questions. So I think that it will be a wrap. It will be an end of our session for today, and we hope that it was insightful. So I saw that there was a question like how Rocket DNA can help with automating finance processes. So most likely Rocket DNA cannot help with automation, but hopefully this session was an insightful example of how things are done at Rocket DNA, and this will bring you to some further development and to further. I think that the key point from today is that there should be no fear, and you should go ahead and you should try and test. And this was our main goal for today, and also sharing some insights on really lovely and very useful tools in the ecosystem. So thank you very much. Thank you very much, Charles and Harry. And this was a pleasure talking to you, and it was very insightful conversation. Hopefully not the last time. Thanks so much to the audience. It was great and amazing to see so many questions, that you participated, that you take time once again as well. And it was really good to see you all. All the best on your transformation journey, and enjoy the rest of your day.
Cool. Thank you very much, everyone. Thanks, Charles. Thanks, Masha. Thanks, ApprovalMax. Really appreciate it. And I can see questions coming in. I'll reach out straight after this session to any of you guys as well. Thank you.
Thank you so much, everyone. Have a lovely day.
Yep. Bye-bye.
Nice one. Take care, everyone.